We got more clips from minicamps and OTAs. Today we're going to be looking at Drake Maye. We got the total package. I got all the clips, minicamp, OTAs, rookie camp, all of it. All of it. We're going to look at that today, but before we do, you need to click that subscribe button right now because training camp's just around the corner. We're going to be looking at clips every single day from practice from your favorite players. You need to see what they're doing behind the scenes, like we did in minicamp, like we did in OTAs and rookie camp. You need to see what your players are doing. Click that button. Stop missing out. We're looking at Drake Maye. And when I say I got a lot of clips, I got 19 minutes and 20 seconds. We're going to talk ball. We're going to watch him throw the ball around. It's going to be a good time. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Here he is. We're tossing it around here. Just practice. Just practice. We're getting warmed up. We're getting loose. And we got a good mix here of clips. All of what I had on my hard drive is here today for you guys to see, so I can talk ball on Drake Maye. Drake Maye's got a very pretty ball. Guess who else you're going to be seeing? You're going to be seeing other quarterbacks too as well, because I didn't cut them up that well as well. I wanted you to be able to see them. Drake Maye, just slinging rockets downfield, deep balls, cinematic clip there, closer one up front, just getting it done. Here's another one, spraying it all over the yard. What I like about him was at North Carolina, we knew instantly, like within first few passes, first few games, that he had something and he was being touted as a first rounder instantly. Top tier prospect coming out of high school, lived it up throughout his collegiate career. We had some down moments in 2023, but honestly, when you look at him as a passer, accurate downfield, skate the pass rush, very calm and collected under pressure. And the odds of first-round quarterbacks aren't that great, so it's easy for people to be naysayers on a quarterback or just about any of them. I hear about all the first-round quarterbacks. I do content on all the first-round quarterbacks. I hear retractors on all of them. And I've heard all the rebuttals. And they all really, if you look at it from the macro, they all look like the same. So why concentrate on that? What I see here is a guy here that's got a very pretty ball, that's accurate downfield, that can throw lasers. That was a high-end recruit coming out of high school. Went to North Carolina. Came in for how? And looked better. And looked better. And that's why he was considered a first-round prospect within a couple games under his belt in college. A couple games. He's got a little mobility. He can throw the deep ball. He's aggressive downfield. This team showed their hand that they're willing to build around him. They drafted Polk. They drafted Javon Baker. Two very, very good wide receiver prospects. Two very good wide receivers there out of this year's draft. Honestly, if Maye hits early in his career, one of those wide receivers are probably hitting with him. You got Kendrick Bourne. You also got Demar Douglas. You got some pieces on this offense. And they're going to keep adding to it. They already showed their hand. That's him with Polk and Javon Baker. Those two, if you really watch all the clips and you watch the in-between scenes of him just talking with people and players, you'll see him talk with them a lot, building a rapport with them. One thing I'll let you know, or what I've been seeing from these clips, and you know I've been watching because we've been doing these videos for a few months now, his drop back. You watch him compared to the other quarterbacks on the roster, he's a lot smoother. He's a lot lighter on his feet on his drop back. Like his feet is different in those regards. The feet sets everything too when it comes to your base and your throwing motion. It's just lighter. It's just there. Watch him go bop, 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 bop. And then you just watch the other guys on their drop back. It's different. He's smooth on his feet. He moves laterally well. Every step is efficient with purpose. It's the end of the net. Solid throwing it into the nets. What a lot of people will say during these types of highlights is it's just t-shirt and shorts, which is obvious, right? But the one thing you can see is how a player carries himself in between plays, whether or not he's failing, whether pitch and catch looks like pitch and catch. That's like one of my taglines. And if it's not looking like pitch and catch, which it should, then bad things are happening. Also, he's on the money on a lot of his throws. We got just about every throw from the offseason here. He's looking good on his dropbacks. If you're a Patriots fan, you get to see your new quarterback in the uniform. You get to see him from different angles. You get to see what the practice facility looks like. And that may not be a big deal right now because we get these clips all the time these days. 5 to 10 years ago, never. Don't take this for granted because back in the day, minicamp was just something you might get to read 2 sentences about. That's what it was back in the day. You may get to read 2 sentences about Drake Maye here and there from a beat writer or two. That's it. You get to see him move in the pocket a little bit. Training camp is where things will ramp up. You got Jacoby Brissett. You got Joe Milton. The quarterback situation here in New England is something to watch. And they may smooth out the process with Jacoby Brissett, which is logical with most teams. Doesn't always happen. Like if May's having a great training camp, he may jump it. Or we may see him middle of the season, late in the season somewhere in time, as a smoothing out process. That gives them the opportunity as they're developing their young quarterback just to get systems in place for pregame, for how the games are structured, after the game, all that stuff. So when they're ready to throw them to the Wolves, you got a little bit of that stuff under your belt. You have a little bit of that experience, so you don't have to worry about where to go, what to do this. Some of that basic dumb stuff is out of line, and you got things started with the veteran anyways. That being said, it may not happen that way. It really depends on how well he's excelling too. We will see in training camp. It will be here in training camp. It will be here on training camp. I will have the highlights from training camp probably about every other day or so. If you're a Patriots fan and you want to pay attention to Drake Maye, Joe Milton, pay attention to this channel because like I did in minicamp, like I did in rookie camp, I kept the tabs on these players daily. Looking at Javon Baker, looking at Jalen Polk. What I like about Javon Baker, he's one of my favorite wide receivers in this year's draft class. But the thing about this, a lot of people had him as their favorite wide receiver. I liked him because he wasn't pegged as a top guy, but he had some qualities that I liked about him. One thing I like about him is that my ball mentality. And if you go up to Javon Baker and say, hey, what do you think about 50-50 balls? He's going to look at you and get mad. He's going to be very, very irritated by that because he thinks it's 100-0. And that's because of his mentality. He's a very aggressive player. He's a very aggressive breaking off routes. Very sticky hands. Very sudden movements. There's a ton of workout clips leading up to minicamp and OTAs. I imagine we're going to get a bunch of those from him for training camp as well. I will have those clips on the channel too as those pop up. And I got some more workout clips I'm going to be sharing with you guys for other players that I have loaded up in the queue. And then we're talking about Jalen Polk. Very electric downfield, very productive last year at Washington. Can stretch it downfield. Has a lot of upside. Can get a lot of volume in this offense. Can really pair well with Drake Maye with what he wants to do. Pushing it downfield. Can be a very good target in this offense. And I don't think this team's done building at the wide receiver position. I think they're going to be looking at Drake Maye and company and being like, let's just get some more. Let's just keep building. Because wide receivers are going to come. That's just the thing about wide receivers these days. We look at high school recruits every single day. The thing about recruiting classes, it's deeper and deeper and deeper at wide receiver. It's going to continue to get deeper. And wide receivers come out more nuanced at the position, better route runners, more crafty. You're going to see more of that in drafts and in the college game. And it's just going to trickle up through time. And we had a very deep wide receiver class this year. We're talking about 20 deep of wide receivers who had day 2 grades or better. And that is something you don't want to take for granted or underappreciate. That's just something we don't have every year. Usually about 10 or so. 10, 12, 8, 9, something like that every year. But not 20. So a guy like Javon Baker, even though it fell in the draft a little bit to day 3, it doesn't mean he's a bad wide receiver talent-wise. It does mean that the Patriots don't have sunk costs invested in him. They have a day 3 pick, And if something is more tantalizing on the market, that day 3 pick isn't going to prevent them from moving forward. So he does have to produce early in his career. He does have to be on the field. He was missing some time in camp. He was out. But also when he was on the field, he was looking good. Jalen Polk's been looking good. He's been looking good catching the ball, breaking off routes. And Drake Maye's been looking good. I've not read any bad accounts about Drake Maye. From what I'm hearing, he's been looking good in team drills. He's been looking good in these one-on-one drills. From accounts from the media, press conferences. Sounds like he's ahead on schedule. And I have him graded higher than Mac Jones. Coming out of the draft, comparing the draft profiles, I have him ahead of Mac Jones. And I think that's pretty easy to say. I have him as a better prospect than Mac Jones for sure. I think he's got an accurate deep ball. I like his feet. I think Mac Jones has a very fast mental processor, but I think Drake Maye matches it. I think you will see that. I think the question is the transition with this team. How quickly can they transition? How quickly can they move forward? And how quickly can they get him acclimated along with these rookie wide receivers? And they also got other young wide receivers on the roster as well. And are they going to keep adding to it? How are they going to keep building this team? But there's a lot of upside with this team. If you're looking for fantasy football analysis with Drake Maye, for Dynasty, top tier in Superflex, he's a top 5 pick easy. Really depends on where he goes, but he's usually after Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams in the quarterbacks, and he's also after usually Malik Neighbors, and he's usually after Marvin Harrison Jr., and that's the price that's been set by the market, really. And the thing is, in Superflex, you got to get your quarterback. You got to get your quarterback, usually in most leagues. Quarterbacks aren't dealt in Superflex once they're established. Maybe in newer leagues with newer managers, they might move a little bit more. But once you're in an established league with guys who've played Superflex for a while, it takes a lot to trade for a quarterback, more than what you want to deal. So you're more willing to take those shots on these young quarterbacks, even though the hit rate's not great. The hit rate is not great on rookie quarterbacks. That's just the thing is. That's just what it is. But we're not going to dwell on that. We know that. That's just part of the game. That's just part of the game. But when you look at the potential here, there's a lot here with Drake Maye. He's got good feet. He's got good mechanics. The ball gets out quick. It comes out humming. But the thing about this for 1 QB redraft for fantasy, you're looking at him as a money ball play. He's probably going to be sitting on waivers for a bit. And really a streaming option until it's more established. I mean, that's just a common sense take, right? It's not really a take. It's just what it is. More of a money ball play on the waiver wire until things get established. But the thing about this, when you're looking at Drake Maye, you're looking at quarterback here. Watch him on the drop back. Watch him go between the bags. The feet's good. You can tell he's not like overcompensating with concentration there. Like everything's flowing good. You're seeing him with the other quarterbacks there. And they got a very fascinating quarterback group, especially with Joe Milton there. His ball just flies. He's a very, very interesting prospect there for developmental reasons. A lot of people are paying attention to him. He has a CGI deep ball, but watching the other quarterbacks too. Now you can see, watch him move through the bags versus Drake Maye. Like there's got to be more concentration spent to be able to do that where he's free-flowing it. That's one thing you can see about him. And then he's chill. He's chill. He's got some chill to him out there. Where this is a high-pressure situation for a young kid. You're playing for your NFL team here. You just got drafted. You're learning the ropes. You got a playbook thrown at you. You're learning the name of your coaches. They're throwing stuff at you. They're trying to see where you're at mentally. They're trying to see what you're doing. Some of these are duplicates, but from different avenues or beat writers and stuff. But I've been just grabbing and going with these clips for months. See him move out on the pocket there. Throws on the off platform. More Drake Maye coming at you. Sling the rock. Bam. Getting it there. Very solid quarterback prospect. We got everything you really want out of a quarterback. It's easy to nitpick quarterbacks and say, hey, he's not going to hit. He's not going to make it because the odds are against him. The odds are against him. That's the easy thing to do. That's the easy thing to do. That's the lazy thing, really, to do. Look at their potential. What's it going to look like if he does hit? What's that going to look like? He's going to be pushing it downfield. And I imagine Jalen Polk or Javon Baker, if not both, are going to be heavily involved. You're not hearing much about Kendrick Bourne and Demaire Douglas, but they're going to be involved. Demaire Douglas got a lower ADOT last year, got the shorter targets, so he's going to be a good outlet. They signed Ramondre Stevenson, so they got continuity in the backfield. That's what they wanted. He catches the ball in the backfield. I think 2 years ago, top 3 in targets among running backs. So he's got an outlet there, bigger running back who's got good vision. You got some pieces here. You got Antonio Gibson, who can also catch the ball in the backfield. He's got 90-some percentile size adjusted speed score, who could be electric in space with this team. You got some pieces here that's a little bit under the radar. We're not here predicting to win the Super Bowl, but we are seeing this team, and we're watching them. We're seeing what they're doing. I bet there's a step forward somewhere down the line, a ha-ha moment where it clicks. And it's going to be with Drake Maye. It's hard to see him busting, but honestly, you can see every quarterback busting, so why focus on that? I believe it's going to click with this quarterback. I believe it's going to surprise us. I believe they should let him or allow him to let it rip when he gets his opportunity. Just allow him to go full go. Allow him to be aggressive with the ball. And that's another thing. If they're too conservative with the play calling and not allowing him to play to his strengths, that could be another thing about it. You can say what you say from what you hear from pressers and the media, but we won't know till we're in game how they want to handle that. We won't know. And that could be more middle of the year, late next year, somewhere around there. But we won't know for sure. But that's something too. It's not 100% on him, but I can definitely tell you a lot of it is, and things are looking good. What I've read, he's looking good at camp so far. And there have been moments where quarterbacks and players have not looked good in minicamp. We'll know more in training camp. Training camp's going to be huge for him because training camp, the pads are going to be on. The one-on-ones between the DBs and the wide receivers are going to be hot, heavy, and heated. The windows are going to be tighter. There's going to be a lot more thrown at him. He's got more time to take in the playbook and stuff right now, to take in the system, to bring that to training camp, to allow that to manifest on the field. We got that time right now. Is that going to happen? Is that going to happen, and what's that going to look like when we get to training camp? Is he going to be able to take off in training camp? If he does, it's his job. It's his job. He's going to be able to take over. That's the thing. Training camp is where we're going to see what's going to happen with him, where the rubber's going to hit the road. This is a good indicator. We're getting loose. We're learning our team. We're learning our coaches. We're learning the systems so we can ramp it up to training camp. And training camp starts off as like a heavy mini camp and then rapidly gets hot and heavy and heated. That is where the rubber's going to meet the road. We got a good idea of how the road's paved right now. We could see what the rubber's going to meet the road here in about 2.5 weeks or so. Around July 16th is when the rookies are going to go to their teams or appear with their teams for training camp. They come about a day or so early. We'll probably get some workout clips then. And then about July 20 to 25th, we'll start getting clips out. They'll start running rampant, and we'll have them every day till the start of the season. Till you're sick of them. Seeing your favorite rookies, your favorite players. Drake Maye, look at the drop back. He's a lot smoother. He doesn't have to double think. Look at him go. He's got a lot of pop in the step. I think Drake Maye's got a lot of upside in this offense. I think there's a lot of good things in this offense. I think you need to be open-minded with these young quarterbacks because the negative's already there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on the way out. One thing for watching. Catch you on the next video.